Yesterday's prophecies, today's headlines. This is the Hal Lindsey Report. And now, Hal Lindsey.
Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Hal Lindsey Report. Last week, the United Kingdom raised its terror level to the second highest, severe, meaning an attack is highly likely. In the United States, a bulletin has gone out to several federal and state agencies warning of an imminent terror attack near or coming from the U.S. border with Mexico. Judicial Watch reports that Islamic terrorist groups are operating in the Mexican border city of Ciudad Juarez and planning to attack the United States with car bombs or other vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices. High-level federal law enforcement, intelligence, and other sources have confirmed to Judicial Watch that a warning bulletin for an imminent terror attack on the border has been issued. Agents across a number of Homeland Security, Justice, and Defense agencies have all been placed on alert and instructed to aggressively work all possible leads and sources concerning this imminent terrorist threat. This is happening against the backdrop of another anniversary of the 2001 terror attacks on New York and Washington. For Americans, the designation 9/11 has come to stand for the events of September 11th, 2001. We associate December 7th with Pearl Harbor and November 22nd with the assassination of President Kennedy. But only with 9/11 did we name the event for the day. For us, 9/11 signifies the horrible events of a day long past. But for terrorists, it's a holy day, a day to celebrate a past attack, and a day to launch new ones. America approaches the anniversary having acquired new global enemies and with a new blood-in-the-water kind of weakness drawing predators our way. And the USA makes a big, hard-to-miss target. The world is no longer a place of city-states, but of nations. We no longer build city walls. Cities are designed to welcome visitors, not to deter terrorists. That means the job of setting up a secure perimeter falls to the federal government, and in that, it is failing miserably. America's border vulnerability is especially egregious now. King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia recently warned that terrorists are once again turning their eyes westward. He said, if we ignore them, I'm sure they will reach Europe in a month and America in another month. Terrorism knows no border, and its danger could affect several countries outside the Middle East. He's certainly more than a disinterested observer. He would love for us to stop ISIS before they hit him. But his concern reflects the severity of the threat. In America, it's as if someone forgot and left the front door open. Texas Governor Rick Perry said that among those crossing the border illegally, we've seen historic high levels of individuals from countries with terrorist ties over the course of the last months. He also said there's a strong possibility that members of ISIS are already here. Joshua Keating of the liberal internet magazine Slate laughed off the whole idea. He said, as Perry acknowledged in his own remarks, and as the Pentagon confirmed, there's no clear evidence that this is happening. But as is generally the case when fears of Al-Qaeda periodically emerge, a lack of evidence is no barrier to bold, sweeping claims. If by clear evidence he means the guns aren't smoking yet, just stick around and see what happens. A few weeks ago, on this program, we listed irrefutable evidence that the Lebanese terror group Hezbollah is present in Mexico and connected with the Mexican and Central American drug cartels. It is a fact, yet Keating went on to say, the frequent claims that this is already a major problem are, well, ridiculous. He made his claim that the concern was ridiculous on August 25th. On August 29th, the Texas Department of Public Safety issued a situational awareness bulletin to law enforcement personnel across the state. It said, a review of ISIS social media messaging during the week ending August 26 shows that the militants are expressing an increased interest in the notion that they could clandestinely infiltrate the southwest border of the U.S. for terror attack. The Mexican government may find it insulting that Governor Perry thinks that their border security is not up to par, but they can take comfort in the fact that the governor doesn't think U.S. border security is too hot either. With so many of the illegal aliens now crossing the U.S.-Mexico border coming from south of Mexico, it's obvious that their border is not secure. Also, sadly, the Mexican government is compromised by the power of the cartels and its own internal corruption. We can't count on Mexico to secure our border against terrorists. It's our job, and we have to do it at all costs. The man wading across the Rio Grande from Mexico into Texas did not look like the others we've seen making the crossing. The face seemed familiar, but unreal. In a bizarre way, the figure resembled Osama bin Laden. It was actually the documentary filmmaker James O'Keefe wearing an Osama mask. His point was obvious and chilling. This border is not secure, and were bin Laden alive, he could walk into the United States just like anyone else. The Obama administration long ago stopped using the expression war on terror. Mike Rogers, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, said, it is incredibly naive to believe that because you say the war on terror is over, the terrorists believe it is over. In reality, the United States and all civilized people are at war with Islamic terrorists, whether we acknowledge it or not. They're out to destroy this nation and everything good that it stands for, not just within the United States, but everywhere. We cannot deal with this problem until we stop denying its reality. ISIS presents a growing danger to the United States. In a short time, it will grow worse. But we must recognize it's already an immediate threat. ISIS today is feeling its oats. They're on a roll. They've grown from a small group to a major army in just a few months. They control 35,000 square miles of Syria and Iraq. In Syria, even a few months ago, they were just one among many rebel groups. Today, they're dominant. The Washington Post describes Abu Yusuf as a high-level security commander of the Islamic State. He said, in the east of Syria, there is no free Syrian army any longer. All Free Syrian Army people have joined the Islamic State. They're selling over $3 million in black market oil every day. That's not much compared to the U.S. military spending, but they are infinitely more efficient. They know that if they could make a big splash against the United States in the near term, young Muslim men by the tens of thousands would begin to stream to the Syrian and Iraqi desert to join in their deadly cause. To them, it is a matter of striking while the iron is hot. They think that if they can be bold enough, it could be checkmate in just a few moves. That belief is probably not true, but the conviction is still real, and it is the belief that makes them dangerous. James Inhofe, U.S. Senator from Oklahoma, said, we're in the most dangerous position we've ever been in as a nation. Speaking of ISIS, he said, they're crazy out there, and they're rapidly developing a method of blowing up a major U.S. city, and people just can't believe that's happening. Robert George, a Princeton professor of jurisprudence, said last week that ISIS is coming for us. They have every intention of getting here, and these are people who achieve what they set out to achieve. Unless somebody stops them, they make good on their threats. They have threatened to carry out activity in the United States, killing people, mass slaughter in the United States. Folks, the people that are making these statements are in the know. That is why we better take it serious that Christ's coming is even more near than we dreamed.